Hey guys, this is Gloria. So I am back because I wanted to share with you guys how to trace around your pattern pieces as well as cut them out. And I hope that I can do all of that in this one video. As I mentioned before, this is a really handy tool to have. It's an air erasable pen. I want to say it cost me less than $3, I think, with a coupon at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, one or the other, but very inexpensive. If you don't have one of these pens, you can use a regular pen or a pencil because what we're going to be tracing on is the wrong side of the fabric. So first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take your fabric and you're going to put right sides together. And I just cut my fabric down to a more manageable piece because I work on this really small IKEA desk. So that's the first thing that you're going to do. The easiest thing to do when you're working with fabric is you want to work with the grain and not against the grain, I guess. And mind you guys, I am not a professional at this, but I can remember some things from back in high school and stuff like that. And so that's why I'm telling you guys. But if I'm wrong, please leave a comment down below. I accept all criticism, believe me. So this is my piece of material, and this is the wrong side of the material. And what I'm going to start with is my larger piece. And so this is my larger piece here, and I'm just going to scoot this over a little bit. This right here is actually an edge, a folded over edge, and I don't want to catch that edge, but I want to make sure that I have enough room to do a 1/4 seam allowance all the way around the girdle. And so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to show you guys without messing this up, but what I want to do is I want to make sure that there's at least a 1/4 seam allowance around the whole thing so that when I go to cut this out, I can cut this out. Now, this is one important thing that I found out, the difference between these particular patterns that are in the book as well as the patterns that you would actually sew with, like the McCall patterns and different things like that, the Vogue patterns. You wouldn't do it this way, but I'm going to show you the way that I do this particular pattern, and I think this is the way that they teach you in the book. So what you want to do is actually you want to put your pattern piece down and just make sure that it meets up really well underneath, meaning that your fabric is the same length on the underneath side. And all I'm going to do is just trace her out. If I can do this around the tripod, but I'm just simply tracing out the image, and I am tracing directly on the line, but that is going to be actually where I sew. Okay, so I'm going to actually sew on the same lines right now that I am tracing out. Uh-oh. I'm sorry guys, I'm messing up here. It's hard to do this around the camera, but we're going to make it work. And like I said, this is an air erasable pen, so any little boo-boos that I make, it doesn't really matter because it's going to erase anyway. You can also take a damp rag and wipe it away. So I just know I need to come all the way in here. But that is my pattern piece traced out, and I got to come all the way in right here. So that is my girl so far. And mind you, I'm not cutting her. I'm just going to leave her as she is, okay? The next thing that I'm going to do, because I work with like larger to smaller parts, so I'm just going to trace her leg out, and then I'm going to trace her arms, okay? And so without you guys sitting here watching me do that part, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the video. I'm going to finish tracing out these parts, and then I'm going to come back and show you guys how I actually sew along these lines and then cut this out. So that's why I'm saying that it's different from if you're using sewing patterns, because with sewing patterns you would trace your pattern or pin down your pattern and you would cut out your piece of material, and then you would take it to your machine and you would sew it. In this case, you would actually trace out your pattern, and then you're going to take this piece to your sewing machine. You're going to sew all the way around here, and then you're going to cut out by 1/4. Now you can do it the other way. You can cut, make sure that you're cutting 1/4 around the entire body to make sure that you have enough room when you go to cut, but then you're going to have to go back and pin this together and all that good stuff. I think that it's easier to just go ahead and sew this before you cut it out. So I'll be back, guys, to show you guys that part.